happening because of China and Africa. China and Africa are willing to negotiate between Russia and Ukraine to end the conflict forever. Africa has proposed a 10-point plan, and China has proposed a 12-points plan to facilitate Russia and Ukraine peace talks. Both China and Africa, the members of BRICS, are willing to end this chaos. But this raises many questions. Why do China and Africa want to do peace talks and not the US? What does Russia think about this? Is Russia itself making the two do peace talks? And how will Ukraine react? We will find answers to all these questions in today's video. You will find our videos intriguing. In this video, we will discuss why China and Africa are eager to do peace talks. We will also talk about Russia's stance on this. Watch the video till the very end to know if the peace talk will bring any anticipated results. Let's get started. The ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict isn't just about those two countries. It's affecting the entire world. The cost of energy, which is needed for things like electricity and gas, is shooting up. The price increase happened right after the Russia and Ukraine conflict. This makes everything else more expensive too. On top of that, food scarcity due to less crop harvest has also become an issue. And the prices of everyday things are rising a lot. All of these issues are causing a lot of anxiety. Every country is afraid of inflation, where prices go higher and higher. It's like a worry that keeps growing and making life harder for everyone. These problems have made everyone want peace and stability. This situation has given a chance for countries from the global south to step into the conflict and try to help by solving it. This is important because the conflict isn't only hurting Russia and Ukraine, it's causing trouble for economies around the world. These are places that might not usually be at the center of big international discussions. Big international discussions are mostly done between Europe and the US, but what is their role in peace talks ever? The US and Europe are not willing to step into the peace talk. Even if they are suffering, they still don't want to step up for their people. In Europe, people are falling into poverty. According to Statista, more than 22% of people in Europe are at the risk of poverty. The US is under a debt crisis, but still, they don't see peace as a priority. So the countries that are not considered as important, even if they are running the US and Europe with trade, are taking part in peace talks. It's because of how much trouble this conflict is causing, they have a chance to play a helpful role. It's like they're trying to limit and end the fire before it spreads even more. This conflict's impact is felt globally. It's not just about Russia and Ukraine anymore, it's a worldwide issue. It has made people realize that the world is so connected that we can't afford conflict. So, finding a solution that makes things better for all nations is really important. If the nations don't solve this conflict, the problems it's causing could get worse and worse for everyone. For peacemaking, a significant event took place on July 27, 2023, the Second Russia-Africa Summit. This gathering, which celebrates the historic connections between Africa and Moscow, takes place against the backdrop of a critical international crisis, the ongoing war in Ukraine. Amidst this complex tapestry of history, diplomacy, and conflict, the summit aims to not only reaffirm ties, but also potentially offer hope for peace. The Russia-Africa Summit holds significance. This gathering, only the second of its kind after the event in 2019, carries even greater weight this year. Amid the backdrop of an 18-month-long Russia-Ukraine war that has cast a shadow of uncertainty, the summit is an effort to solve things. Beyond the surface of celebration, the conflict's influence looms prominently. During a diplomatic mission in June, leaders from South Africa, Senegal, Comoros, and Zambia undertook a peacemaking journey, presenting a meticulously crafted 10-point peace plan to President Vladimir Putin. Their shared aim is to establish a foundation for dialogue between Ukraine and Russia. This collective effort aspires to break the cycle of violence that has persisted for far too long. The message, however, is not just about a peaceful resolution. It's about moving forward, making concessions, and creating a pathway toward dialogue. The timing of the peace initiative couldn't be more crucial. The world's desire to see an end to the conflict isn't just about humanitarian reasons, it's also about addressing the extensive economic effects that have touched nations worldwide. In a world fighting with increasing energy prices, food scarcity, and ever-increasing inflation, the need for stability has become a matter of urgency. However, achieving peace is far from straightforward, as there are significant challenges along the way. But the path to peace is filled with obstacles. The Ukraine conflict has deeply rooted itself, with both opposing sides displaying an unwillingness to yield territory or engage in substantive dialogue. While the African leader's commendable initiative seeks to make a positive impact, it confronts an uphill struggle in persuading Putin to adopt a forward-looking stance. The conflict's complexity is further compounded by geopolitical interests, historical grievances, and power dynamics that stretch far beyond the borders of Ukraine. Despite the current obstacles, the Russia-Africa Summit symbolizes an opportunity for change. While immediate peace negotiations may seem elusive, the possibility of meaningful discussions on the horizon cannot be discounted. Analysts foresee a future where real negotiations are inevitable. China will also play an important role in accelerating the peace talk. China's influence over Russia and Africa could prove to be instrumental in mediating between Kyiv and Moscow. China has also presented its 12-point plan to do peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Before we continue further, tell us, are you loving the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about China's development, power, and influence on the world. Let's continue now. In the diplomacy surrounding the Russia-Ukraine conflict, China's role emerges as a complex interplay of economic leverage, strategic interests, and the pursuit of stability. At first glance, it tells everyone that China's vast economic influence over Russia holds a strong position to exert pressure and facilitate resolution. In Saudi Arabia, China also encouraged solving the Russia and Ukraine conflict. In recent years, China's economic connections with Russia have grown remarkably. Acting as a major consumer of Russian oil and holding a crucial role as a trade partner, China's influence has become pivotal in supporting Russia's economy. Despite its substantial influence, China's presentation of a peace plan for the Russia-Ukraine conflict raises questions. Will Russia accept China and Africa's request? And if it does, what will be Ukraine's reaction? And why the U.S. is not willing to take part in the conflict? The U.S.'s role is complicated by its broader strategic interests. A prolonged conflict can serve the U.S.'s agenda in multiple ways. Firstly, it distracts the global focus from its regional ambitions, allowing it to operate with less pressure to overperform. Secondly, a conflict-driven environment can yield favorable political opportunities. Standing with Ukraine makes the U.S. look like a nation that stands with rights, even if it does not support peace. China's interest lies in peace. That's why both China and Africa are motivated to find a solution to the conflict. Additionally, Russia's involvement in the BRICS alliance, which consists of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, makes the situation even more urgent when it comes to the conflict and possible mediation attempts. The alliance represents a consortium of emerging economies with shared interests in global affairs. Africa and China are important for Russia within this framework. The collective economic and political ties among these nations suggest that Russia may be inclined to heed the requests put forth by China and African leaders. From Ukraine's perspective, the involvement of Africa and China holds promise. Ukraine perceives these regions as neutral players in the conflict. This perception of neutrality enhances the legitimacy of their roles as mediators. Moreover, Ukraine's view of the U.S. taking advantage of the conflict adds another layer to its consideration.
Did y'all not hear that when Ukraine president said Africa and China is neutral, but the United Snake said Africa was funding Russia weapons? That's what the West media said. Fake news. Let's go.
Considerations. The inclusion of Africa and China as mediators could offer Ukraine an opportunity to counterbalance external influences and focus on resolving the conflict. In the current global landscape, the involvement of China and Africa may prove to be the catalyst needed to break the deadlock and set the stage for substantive peace talks. The convergence of interests, strategic calculations, and a shared desire for stability all contribute to the potentiality that this conflict could find resolution through careful mediation by these neutral players. We would like to take a moment here and appreciate you all for commenting and sharing your opinions. Your insights always impress us. Do you believe the involvement of China and African nations as potential mediators could provide a breakthrough in ending the Russia-Ukraine conflict? How do you see their roles in the context of global dynamics and their respective interests? Let us know in the comment section. From Ukraine's perspective, what advantages do you think African and Chinese mediation might offer over the involvement of other nations? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, Please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence over the world. Until the next video.